think I'm speaking in tongues here. Released the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. Now here is the river Euphrates. Massive river. It was bigger before than it is now. It goes all the way north. Starts in the Turkic mountains. Heartland of Islam. Heartland of Islam. Let's have a look. You had 4 sultanates that combined together against Byzantium, and the 4 of them were Baghdad, Damascus, Aleppo, and Iconium. Now you already noted those on another map I showed you. Iconium, Aleppo, this is Syria, Baghdad of course is today's Iraq. That is where at that time you had the great sultanates that finally got under one, what shall I say, under one leader, under the Ottomans, founded by Ottoman, and they attacked collectively, cooperatively, they attacked Byzantium Rome. And they defeated it. That's the fact. And so the 4 angels, now note this language, this is fascinating. I love looking at scripture and then find out, what does it mean? What does it mean? So the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour, the day, the months, and the year. Is that correct? I told you this was not going to be easy, but you can get it. Every one of you here can understand this. To kill a third, Byzantium Rome, of mankind. Yeah? This entity that is now released, 4 angels combining to one force, will last, has been prepared, has been destined to last 1 hour, 1 day, 1 month, 1 year. And we should apply, when we read time slots like this, we should apply the year-day principle. And that is what we're going to do. Because it is amazing. By the way, do you still remember the finishing date of the 5th trumpet, which is the starting date of the 6th trumpet? 27th of July, 14. Oh, you're good, you are. I can go home now. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay. The Ottoman Empire was a remarkable entity. But it had a limited duration. And that was predicted here. It was founded on Ottoman there, Ottoman I. He started the Ottomans, and then they were joined by the Seljuks, the Mamelukes, and a variety of other tribes. And they were a very powerful entity. He sees in vision. This is what he sees. He says, I want you to really take notice here. I saw the horses in vision. He sees the battle under the 6th seal, the 6th trumpet. Those who sat on them had breastplates, fiery red, hyacinths, blue and sulfur yellow. Now he is painting the picture in words. He can only try to tell you what he at 96 AD sees. 96 AD, that's when he wrote that book of Revelation. Maybe a year early, but no later, because he was released on the end of 96 AD from Patmos. And so he sees, and he describes what he sees. Note the language here and the description. And the head of the horses were like the heads of lions. You know, they used to decorate those horses. And they looked so ferocious, and he's trying to express it. And then he says another very remarkable thing. Out of their mouth came fire, smoke, and brimstone. You ever seen a horse like that? No, no, no. Not any horse race. Would you see that? And then he says, I want you to see this, by these 3. Notice, by these 3. What 3? Well, that is the fire, smoke, and brimstone. By the fire, smoke, and brimstone, he says, a third of mankind, Byzantium Rome, was killed. What's he saying? He sees the invention, he sees the usage in warfare of gunpowder. To him, as the riders come towards him in vision, it is as if the cavalry firing their muskets, it is as if it would come out of the mouths of the horses. Which it doesn't, it comes out of the muskets of the cavalry. What I'm trying to tell you here, that in 96 AD, he sees a vision of an event that we know found place in the correct chronology and time. Because they would have never taken Constantinople had it not been for the gunpowder. Now, have a look at this. He goes on, for the power is in their mouths, the discharge of the muskets are put to you, and in their tails. That's interesting. That's interesting. And in their tails, he says, for their tails are like serpents. Note this. He qualifies it, having heads. Okay, remember that. And he says, and with them they do harm. If you look, if you can find the early shapes of the early cannons that were used by the Ottomans, the front of the cannon used to look like a head, and it's interesting, the only way to get the cannons in position in front of the wall is by dragging them by horses. To John that looked like the tail. But he can see the harm that it did do, because that's how they breached the walls of Constantinople. You with me here? Yeah. I find this fascinating, the way, the language, it is perfect. And so that's what he sees. And so Baghdad there, Damascus, Aleppo, and Iconium, combined, the four angels, remember, had been prepared. They were going to be around for how long? An hour? A day? A month? And a year. Okay. You know the starting date, don't you? From the sixth trumpet. 27th of July? You're very good. The conclusion of the hour and the day, the months of the year, therefore must be, if that were to represent the Ottoman Empire, and it does, it would have to mean the end of the Ottoman Empire. Would that be right? Folks? Yes, it should be. Yes, it should be. Now let's look. Let's convert it in the year-day principle. 1 year is 360 days. The year-day principle, 360 years. Then we have a month. We use the lunar months in biblical prophecies. So that is 30 years. And then, of course, we have a day, which is 1 year. And when you add it up, you come to 391 years. Is that correct? Good. I'm glad I got it right. Now we still got the hour. If 1 day is a year, how many hours in a day? 24. That's correct. You all know that. 24 hours. So I got to divide 360 days by 24. How much is that? I would have thought you would have worked it out by now. 15 days. So really what we are having here, folks, the end of the Ottoman Empire should be after 391 years and 15 days from the very date of commencement, which was the end there of the fifth trumpet. So the beginning of the sixth trumpet, which I know you still remember, is the 27th of July, 1449. All right. So we have a very simple exercise. You could all do it. So you add those 391 years and 15 days to that date, the beginning date, and what do you get? The 11th of August, 1840. Everybody clear on this? Yeah? Everybody clear? The 11th of August, 1840. That would have to be the end of the Ottoman Empire. True? Well, that's what the Bible in 96 AD foretold. It better be right. And so let's consider the facts. A man by the